And the job of the Ruach today is to remind us and to lead us into all truth. His job is to bring all things to remembrance. But when you don't have that Ruach in you to bring all things in remembrance, then you are going to need a reminder. And so Tzitzit, which was prophetic of the coming Ruach, was given. Okay? So 1 Chronicles chapter 12 and verse 18 says, Then the Spirit, or the Ruach, came upon Amasai, who was chief of the captains, and he said, Thine are we, Dawad, and on thy side, thou son of Jesse. Peace, peace be unto thee, and peace be to thine helpers, for thy Elohim helpeth thee. Then the Wad received them and made them captains of the band. Okay, so what we see here is that the Ruach came up on Amasai. Okay, that's one. Now we're pretty soon we're going to see the pattern. All right. Numbers chapter 11 and verse 25. Bamidbar 11 and 25 is the next. Let's see. We're asking the question of the scriptures, why was a reminder needed? Why was Tzitzit needed? And Yahuah came down in the cloud. Now this passage is a very important passage, and it's one that we're going to cover when we get back to our study on the character of Yahuah. This passage exemplifies just how Yahuah works, okay? How it is that he could be omnipotent, how it is that his omnipotence, his omnipresence, and his omniscience work. Okay, this passage exemplifies that. When we get back to our study on the character of Yahuah, this is one passage that we're going to come to and look at it in details and contextually. Right now I'm just looking at verse 25. Okay, it says, And Yahuah came down in the cloud and spoke to him, and took of the Spirit, or the Ruach, that was upon him, and placed the same upon the 70 elders. And it came to be, when the Ruach rested upon them, that they prophesied, but did not continue. Okay, now some amazing things are happening there, because number one, what Yah did was he took the one Ruach off of Masha. Okay, now notice that he took it off of Masha, and then he put it on the 70 elders. So now you have one Ruach on 70 people. And if you continue to read this, you're going to see that there's another elder that was inside the camp that was not in that group, but the Ruach also came upon him. And as they were prophesying outside the camp, he began to prophesy inside the camp. Okay, this is the one Ruach. So people might say, how can Yah be in the heavens and be in the earth at the same time as Yahusha? Well, this passage, when you study it contextually, gives you a clear understanding of just how that could be. Okay? And here you have Yah, who takes this Ruach off of Masha. And remember that according to the scriptures, the Ruach is Yah. So here you have Yah taking himself off of Masha from the heavens, putting it on 70 elders and one. Okay, and they all begin to prophesy. Okay, in synchronization as we study this. That's the awesomeness of Yah. That's the power of Yah. That's just how awesome Yah is. Okay, but again, what I want you to see though is that the way the Ruach operated under the old covenant is that Yah would put it on specific individuals for specific purposes at specific times. Okay, whereas today the Ruach dwells in us. The Ruach dwells in the elect. Okay? As we did this study, I talked about the difference between the Nefesh of Yah, which comes from Nesham. Nefesh, I believe, is the Greek. Nesham is the Hebrew. The difference between the Nesham of Yah and the Ruach of Yah. That every single person that lives has the Nesham of Yah, which is the breath of Yah, the air of Yah that causes us to breathe, okay, and move and have our being. But then there is the Ruach of Yah, and only the elect of Yah has the Ruach, okay? So you have the Spirit of Yah and you have the breath of Yah, okay? Everybody has the breath of Yah, but only the elect has the Spirit of Yah and the breath of Yah, or the Ruach of Yah and the breath of Yah, okay? But here, this is the Ruach that Yah takes off of Masha and he puts it on these 70 elders, okay? And when we get back to our study on the character of Yahuah, I'm going to come back to this because it's a very powerful passage that shows you, just show you so clearly the character of Yahuah. How it is that he does all that he does. How is it that he could be in my living room and your living room and somebody else's living room right at this very moment, knowing all that goes on? Okay, so what we're seeing though, we're seeing a pattern. We're beginning to see a pattern. And again, what these passages show, I'm going to go to one more and then you can look the rest up for yourself. But what these passages show is that under the old covenant, the Ruach did not live inside of people continually. Yah would put the Ruach on people at specific times, on specific people, for specific purposes. Okay, Yah would put his Ruach on people at specific times for specific purposes, and I think on specific people. I don't know if I said that or repeated myself. If I did, I apologize. Okay, so we'll look at one more, and you can look at the rest for yourself. Next one we're going to look at is Numbers 24, Bamidbar 24 and verse 2. And then you can look at Judges, okay, chapter 6, 34, and Judges 11, 29. That's just a couple other. There are many other passages too that expresses this truth, okay? So we're asking the scriptures the question, why was a reminder needed? And so you've got to ask the question, well, what is the purpose of the Ruach? The purpose of the Ruach, according to the scriptures, is to remind us and to help us and to empower us, okay? But because the people did not have the Ruach in them at that time to remind them, to empower them, and to help them, they needed an outward reminder, okay? That's under the old covenant. Okay, and that was the fault that Yah found with the old covenant. Yes, he found fault with the old covenant. Okay, that was the fault that he found with it. Okay, all right, so we're looking at one more. And so because they did not have that Ruach in them continually, they needed an outward reminder, and that's why Masha was commanded to have the people make Tzitzit as that reminder. The problem with Tzitzit, however, is that it was a reminder, but it did not empower the people. Okay? It served as a reminder, but it did not give them power. Okay? So we're going to look at that as we continue. So let's look at Numbers 24, Bamidbar 24 and verse 2. And then we're going to move on to another point. I'm trying to cover this. Thank you for hanging in there, for bearing with me. I hope to finish it. I'm going to try to get through it quickly here. 24 into verse 2. And Balaam lifted up his eyes and saw Yasharal encamped according to their tribes, and the Ruach of Elohim came up on him. Okay, now Balaam was a false prophet. Okay, but Yah allowed his Ruach to come upon him, and he prophesied in favor of Yasharal. Even though he wanted to prophesy against Yasharal, he prophesied in favor of Yasharal. But Balaam was a false prophet. Okay? You read the scriptures, you'll also find that even Saul, in his disobedience, Yah caused his ruach to come upon him, and he prophesied. Okay? And he stripped himself naked. And the people wondered, oh, is Saul now like one of the prophets? Is he now one of the prophets? Now, what was the importance of him stripping himself naked? The prophets, Yah at times would have the prophets strip themselves naked, because that's how gross and how wicked Yasharal was before Yah. And so he would have his prophets strip themselves naked and walk through the city, and even lay in the city square of Yerushalayim, to show the people that this is how detestable you look before me. And so, on this day, Yah put his spirit on Saul. Saul began to prophesy and stripped himself naked and stayed naked all night. And the people saw him and said, wow, is Saul now one of the prophets? This is amazing, because Saul was known to go against the commands of Yah. You know, but really, that message was for Saul himself. This is how pathetic, how gross you appear in my sight, Saul. Okay? And so the message now was for him personally. Let's, okay, so what we see, and the point there that we're trying to bring out, is the fact that under the old covenant, the Ruach did not indwell man continually. Yah would put it upon specific people at specific times for specific purposes. And so because you did not have the continual indwelling Ruach HaKadosh, set apart spirit, then the people needed something to remind them of Yah and to remind them of his Torah. Why? Because the heart is desperately wicked above all things, okay, and deceitful. Who can understand it?